The most downloaded mod in Farm Sim 22 is the government subsidy sign from Realismus Modding. It's actually two signs with this. The green sign, the municipal subsidy, gives you $8,400 per month when placed down, and the government subsidy gives you $8,400,000 a month when placed. Both mods are also free, so you can place them down and not have to worry about anything. And for some extra cash, you can literally place down as many as you want. These are literally the definition of free money. With enough of these, you literally have unlimited money in Farm Sim, being able to do whatever you want. The second most downloaded mod in Farm Sim is the Huskar Enduro Pack. There's two different versions. We have the TE series, which has got about 54 horsepower, and the FE series, which has got about 63 horsepower. Customization options are full as well with different engines. We have different headlights that we can throw on as well, exhausts, hand protectors on the front, and even different colors. And if you want to take it up a notch and go with the FE series, this is basically all of those same things as well, with a few minor differences here and there. Now, obviously, these have no real benefits when it comes to farming, but for having fun, these things are definitely awesome. Takes off, gets up to top speed very, very quickly. Even though it says 60, we can actually push this up to about 74 with no problems. It also has the ability to turn on a dime, more or less. We can at least turn around in the middle of the road. And if you got a little jump, these will do pretty okay. And if you hold it, you can even ride out a wheelie at the end. The suspension is actually very nice too. Look at that, lay it down and ride on. Super smooth ride. Unfortunately, when you go in first person, you do lose the ability to have hands, but it is still pretty darn fun. Yay! Haha! Gotta love it. The third most downloaded mod in Farm Sim 22 is the TLX 3500 series from 82 Studio. This pack was at number 2 for the longest time and actually has the second most votes of any mod on the Mod Hub. There's 7 total trucks included with this pack. 2 of those are the single cab with the long bed. These can be found with a 6.2 liter engine sound or 7.3. We've also got crew cab versions with the same bed length in the 6.2 or 7.3 liter sounds. You can also get versions with a shorter bed, and we have those in the 2 sounds as well. And of course, there's a monster truck. If you go with one of the longer bed options, which are the first 4 trucks, you'll have a lot of different beds to choose from. We've got the standard pickup bed with lots of customization options. We've got the flatbed. This may look familiar to you. The tipper bed, if you want to make it look like a dump truck. The prospector bed, which is really good for loading up bales, pallets, things like that. We've also got the AB tanker, if you want to move around some liquids. And there's even one dedicated just to fuel. There's also a feed mixer that holds 11,900 liters of feed if you want to do a feed mixer with a pickup truck. And even a yardette. The lawn care, man! You can roll up a zero-turn mower on here, whatever you want. If you want to go with the shorter bed options, there are no single cab versions, but we do have the crew cab versions of both engine sounds. And very similar bed options. We have the pickup bed, we also have the flatbed, the tipper, and the prospector bed. And as mentioned, yes, there's a monster truck with this setup, and it's so cool! One of the ideas with this pack is modularity, meaning that you can use the truck by itself. We've got a gooseneck hitch on the very back, so if you have a gooseneck trailer, you need nothing. But if you want something, well, then you've got multiple bed options. You can see they're here on stilts, and you can select all of them. If you want to, put them in a shed and then choose the right truck for you. However, unfortunately, the monster truck does not have detachable beds. Bummer, I know. This truck may also have the most amount of customizations of anything, maybe second to the TLX 2020. Wheels are pretty fun too. There's so many different customization choices. There's even tracks if you want it. And if you want to use it as a hunt truck or something like that, we have a digital camo setup as well as a winter camo. And every color choice imaginable, including nitro blue. Yeah. All of the beds have different customization options as well, including different rack options, sequential tail lights. Of course, we have the liveries, and options if you're running different tire setups. And if you want to do some off-roading, this is basically the only truck you need. Oh yeah, all the trucks have this kind of suspension. It's so cool. So whether you want a basic pickup truck or something wild and crazy like the monster truck, it is no wonder why the 3500 series is the #1 pickup truck in Farming Simulator. The 4th most downloaded mod in Farming Simulator is the Lizard Road Rage from Vector Man. This is also the most downloaded car mod on Mod Hub as well. We've got some different customization like front lights, and then we also have color options for everything. And by everything, I mean the main color and the stripes. It's also got a hidden feature. openable doors. There are no, how you would say, farming options with this car. However, it will get up to about 122 miles an hour, and, well, you can drive an older Mustang around your farm. It'd be just fine. The 5th most downloaded mod in FS22 is the tension belt support from Schmied. This mod takes a lot of the base game pieces of equipment, including some weights, and adds a lot of different features. For example, the base game Albert bucket can have its logo removed. The Maxi universal bucket for telehandlers has color selection, and probably the coolest thing, every piece in here is strappable. Now, yes, all pieces of equipment in Farming Simulator 22 can be strapped down, but it looks like this, whereas this mod makes it look like this, giving a much more accurate representation. This was also a very popular mod back in Farming Simulator 19 as well. However, back then, it was actually a big game changer because we didn't have the ability to strap this stuff down. So if you're like me and you like customization, you still want to make sure you have this in 22. The 6th most downloaded mod of FarmSim 22 is the TLX 2020 series from 82 Studio. This mod features 2 trucks as opposed to the 3500 that we talked about, which had 7. Both of them do have different specs as far as your engines go, and they have different sounds. There are a pile of different options to choose from as far as beds. We've also got a way to move snow plows. We have an auto-loading bell trailer on there, and we have wheeled versions of a few of those different beds. The trucks themselves come standard with just an open frame at the back and a lot of customization. There's also different vinyls for the side. We could do Lizard motors, you've got Lizard logistics and farming and storage, but there's also things like Kubota, John Deere, Case, and JCB. You want light bars? No problem, we got you. If you do want to go snow plowing, make sure you put that snowplow mount on the front though. And not as many colors as the 3500, but they're still nitro blue, so that's great. When it comes to the beds, there's quite a few different options for toolbox, side rails, roll bars, and even a headache rack or a cover. And one of the neat things is some of these have unrealistic configurations. For example, the tipper trailer right here has an unreal capacity of 82,000 liters. Wonder where you got that number from. The liquid or the liquid tanker can go up to a total of, was it 25,000 liters, which is just crazy. The other liquid tanker, the AB, will go up to, it's just ridiculous, 50,000 liters. That's so cool. This will also do different oils and stuff from the game as well, so if it's a liquid, it could probably carry it. One of my favorites is this guy right here. This is an auto load for productions, and it'll hold 82,000 liters in there by itself. I mentioned the auto loader for baler. Yeah, this is the bale. It basically, puts a couple spikes back, grabs bales, and it'll load up to 3 round bales at 125 centimeters. And fortunately, the trailers in the back have those unrealistic options too. Actually, you probably see me use this version a lot. This is the smallest pickup that 82 Studio makes. Of course, he has the 2022 series, which is a little bit bigger, the 3500, which is larger than that, and then we have the monster trucks from there. So if you want to check out the smallest truck that he makes, and definitely the most popular, has the 2nd most votes of any mod on the mod up, you definitely want to go with the TLX 2020 series. The 7th most downloaded mod in FarmSim 22 is the Lizard Rumbler van from DD Mod Passion. Unfortunately, this is the lowest rated mod in the top 10 with 4.2 stars, which still not too bad. We have a bunch of different vans, and we even have a trailer. The vans are all very similar, so once you know how to use one, you could use them all. You just simply choose your different wheelbase or height. The first 3, we have the short wheelbase with the LR, the MR, and HR, so we have a regular height, medium height, and a really high height. Then we have the same thing for the medium wheelbase, the long wheelbase, and the extra long wheelbase. You can kind of see right here from the very front how it kind of boops out, and then does it again. They all have the exact same height for each version of the van though. And once you've learned all that, we have lots of customization with like AI worker, engine setup. We could do an electric version, which I think is pretty cool. You could change your driver's side to left or right, making this, I think, one of the only mods that you could do that with in FarmSim. You can even go full man with a van and take away that rear window altogether if you want. But it's got some interesting things as far as karting goes. So you could use this as an auto loader for different productions. We have a discharge of automatic or manual, meaning do you want to do it yourself or do you want it to happen automatic? We also have capacities of standard, high, which is 1 million, or you could do, I think that's a trillion? Not quite sure how many zeros that is, but it's a lot. And yes, that also makes this the highest capacity of, I think, anything in Farming Simulator 22. There's also different versions. We have the fillable pallet or fill it with tanks. You've also got different things like bread, plank, silage additive, butter, cake, canola, cereal, cheese, chocolate. I'm going to read the rest, but you know what I mean. It's all of the different production chains that we have for base game. They are all there, including tree saplings, which is pretty cool. You could put wool in there if you want to as well, but I would definitely stick with either fillable pallet or fillable tanks, especially if you want to do some karting with this. Oh yeah, and the top has tension belts, which is pretty cool. And did I mention the inside? You could just go with none and load in your own stuff all you want. You could do that too. Color options include, well, every color-based game. And we even have stuff for design, which is the inside, and we have some rim colors. Now, I mentioned karting a few times, so I've got a harvester right here that is ready to get some stuff out, and we'll come over here, see if I can find that. And you can see inside, we have pallets that have started to arise. The only thing that's a little bit funky is the van doesn't like to drive very well when you've got the realistic capacity. So this is the largest, highest van. We have a 20,000 liter capacity in here. It's a little bit slow. When compared with nothing at all, it drives perfectly fine. So if you're going to be using these for doing any type of hauling, I would kind of recommend going unrealistic. I always recommend going unrealistic, but for this one, I definitely recommend it. And if you know how the vans work, you can pretty much figure out how the trailer works as well. It's even got that highest rated capacity, making it one of the highest capacity things in the game. So now the only question is going to be, which one are you using? The 8th most downloaded mod in Farm Sim 22 is the Lizard TRA 500 from Agritono. The mod's got quite a few customization options, including 75 horsepower engines in variable transmission, as well as power shifts, as well as designs for rims, handlebars, bumpers. We've also got designs for a roof, which looks like this if you're curious. You can also get 3-point hitches for the side and the back. Not sure what you would do with these, but hey, you've got them. There's also some camo and more collars for everything than you could ever want and need. There's nothing too wild and crazy about this, but it is a pretty sweet setup. And if you want to do any role play like you're going hunting or camping, something like that, you gotta have it. The number 9 most downloaded mod in Farm Sim 22 is the TLX Phoenix series from 82 Studio. The mod itself technically features 9 different trucks, available with a Cummins engine, Caterpillar, Detroit, and low versions of all 3 of those as well, because these engine sounds are loud. There's also 3 in the middle. We have the TLX Phoenix Agro Work, which gives us, I believe this is an X3 sized frame on there, and then we've got a couple other ones with service frame with a V6 and V8 engines. Each truck also has customization options for all of the links and things like that, so if you need to find those, well, you can find those in configurations. Just like his pickup trucks, his semi-trucks as well have all kinds of different beds that you could throw on. We have the X2 dumper bed, which I'm currently using on a few series, and will go all the way up to 820,000 liters. We have the X2 tanker, which will go up to 820,000 liters as well, but it depends on what you're selecting. And same thing here with the fuel setup. If logging's more your thing, well, they've got a bit for logging too. And there's also auto loads. If you want to auto load your standard round or square bells, well, there's one for that. There's one for the baby bells. So these small square bells that you make with a Massey Ferguson baler, you can auto load those too. Or any production chain in the game. You can do that too, right here with this. Auto loading with that, unreal capacity. 500,000 liters. Rock on. And maybe you don't want to use the truck, but you still want to use some of those frames. Well, you can use this, the TLX Pup trailer frame. This will allow you to hook up your X2 attachments. All good. And just for fun, here's a dolly. Now, you hear me saying X2 and X3 quite a bit, and even service frame, which is something completely different as well. The X3 attachment, which is for the longest bed, well, this right here will go with that. It's pretty much the attachment that comes with the Homer pack, but it's been set up specifically to work with this. So it is a 1,150,000 liter capacity on there. And it's got a big auger. You can change colors. There's also a crusher here, which works with wood, stones, and I believe it works with sugar beets. Yeah, so you put those things into the top, and out you get the things that have been crushed. As I mentioned, we have different engine sounds for each one. So here is the CMS. The cat engine. And the D60. There's also those low volume versions, so if you want to be a little quiet, here's the quiet CMS. One other thing he made was the addition to turn the jake brake off. So sometimes you run with the jake brake on, or you could just turn it off. Some people don't like it, and that's okay. And if you want to run some of the bigger stuff, make sure you get the TLX Phoenix Agro Work. This will have the big attachment for you. Now, we mentioned X2 and X3 quite a bit with this video, and there's another thing. So with this working with the X3 attachments, well, there's other things like the TLX X3 series attachments pack. This is not required, but it does help a lot if you want to use this. This is the only mod that's in the pack when I'm recording this, the TLX Rollback Bundle. But hey, here it is. If you go for a service frame with the V6 and the V8 version of that, you can then use the tow truck or maybe the service bed, or maybe you want to go and use a couple other things as well. There's plenty of stuff in here to do that with. And all of his mods that are semi-truck related anyway work with the DTU or detachable towing unit. So you could utilize this and turn any of the ones with a fifth wheel into a towing truck. Nice honorable mention as well as the Phoenix Winter Wolf. This is a separate mod completely, but it is a TLX Phoenix and it's the off-road version. It's got some different beds on it. So if you wanted an off-road version, kind of a monster truck, semi-truck, well, there's one of those too. With all the insane things that you could do with this truck, making it whatever you want it to be on 3 axles, it's no wonder that this is the most popular semi-truck in Farming Simulator 22. The 10th most popular mod in Farming Simulator 22 is a tough one because it constantly goes back and forth between Precision Farming and the old Farm Pack. However, since Precision Farming is a game mode really and not so much a mod, well, we're going to talk about the old farm pack today. This pack consists of 3 different styles of farmhouses, a sheep barn, and a couple small sheds. However, there's a few things with this that don't make a whole lot of sense. For example, the massive sheep barn only holds 25 head of sheep. And though it's a nice pack, it's weird to think how a pack like this could be in the top 10. And that's a really easy one to explain. This pack is a required mod in a bunch of Dutch maps on ModHub. Seeing that those get quite a few downloads, you are forced into downloading this, and if you guys know me, well, I hate that a lot.